Alright, round two. Well, that broke my heart a little bit. I'm obviously going to have to mess with the settings a little bit later. Oh, alright. So, what do we have left? Oh, right, I have all those I need to turn in. Cool. Pay all my fines from crashing into shit. Good stuff. Okay, just want to make sure I actually turned everything in. So, we're good there. Let's get the fuck out of here. Oh shit. I keep forgetting I rebound a lot of stuff, so I keep going to use like default elite controls, even though I wanted to switch the controls around to shit I actually use more often.
Be aware of weapons restrictions in this area, Commander. Retract your hardpoint.
Alright. Knock this one out first. Oh, I'm definitely done with Star Citizen. I'm over it, man. I don't like the company. I don't like the fucking community. I just don't want anything to do with it anymore, honestly. Um, and you know, it's whatever, right? Like, if people want to back Star Citizen, I really don't like it. It doesn't affect me. As long as they know what they're getting into, then by all means, free will and all that shit, right? And I mean, kind of like jumping on Noodle Rath's whole thing. The whole land sale, like that really soured me on CIG. Like the fact that they're resorting to that kind of shit. Even if I was like, oh, well, I'll come back later on when the game's finished. I can only imagine like if I walk away now and then come back in like whatever amount of time it takes for them to finish the game. What other kind of insane shit they're going to try to monetize and sell between now and whenever the game is released, right? So, I mean, I really can't see myself coming back. We can switch that back now that we don't have, what do you call it, on? Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing, Resistance is like, it doesn't matter what CIG tries to sell, there's going to be somebody who's going to buy it and they're going to celebrate the fuck out of it and just, I don't know, man. Like, it, I'm not saying that other games don't have like fanatic fanboys and shit like that. Um, but like the whole like active community, because I understand, I really do understand that like, you know, I think a majority of backers for Star Citizen are, the silent ones, the one that like pledge $45 and then just kind of are like, well, I'll check in when this game ever gets made, right? And they're not active on Reddit or RSI forums or any of that shit. Like I get that, but unfortunately, it's squeaky wheel gets the grease scenario where the people who are active are the ones that make the most noise and are the ones that are just gonna fucking uh, drive people away from a project because you know they just go on and on and on about like how they want the game to be and shun out anybody who says, "Oh no, the game has issues." I honestly, Omicron, like if I were to get into it, it would be here all night. Like there's so much I don't like about Star Citizen, and it's not all the game. A lot of what I don't like about Star Citizen is one, the community, two, the company developing it. I think they do a lot of really shady shit. Um, and then like as far as the game itself, what I don't like, I'm very very hesitant over like their whole sudden shift in like hyper realism survival mechanics and shit like that. Like I don't really care for that. Like I backed Star Citizen when it was a space sim, and that was essentially all it aspired to be. It was like a really high fidelity space sim, and not a really high fidelity space life sim. So I don't know. Yeah, I agree, Noodle. The whole like heart rate shit, like they're just going way, way, way more advanced than they need to with that game. Like, I really, I look at like the direction and like all the extra shit that they want to put into the game, and I just kind of wonder, like, is it going to be fun if they do manage to get the game out the door? Like, is it actually going to be fun, or is it going to be, you know, like Hellion, where the mechanics really drive out the majority of people, and it becomes a super super niche game, and then there's no population playing the game, and it just kind of becomes a barren wasteland. Um, but I guess we'll see. Yeah, like a lot of when I was kind of like, I don't know if this is really the game I want to back anymore, started once Chris started really driving home like all the fucking like heart rate bullshit, and the oxygen being tied to fucking like moving around and just all that other shit. Um, it just really reminds me of games that I didn't enjoy before, and it kind of makes me think I'm probably not going to enjoy this either. And like, it would be one thing to say, okay, I don't know if I'm gonna like these. Damn it! Ooh, get down. It would be one thing to say, oh, I don't know if I'm gonna like these mechanics. I guess I'll just wait and see how they feel and go from there. But like the problem is like, there's so many other things that I don't like about CIG as a company that makes me not want to do that. Um, that so for me, like the game mechanics that I don't think I'm going to enjoy were essentially like the nail in the coffin for me, because I already didn't trust the company. I already didn't like the way that they did a lot of things. I already just didn't have any faith in them as a company. So that was kind of like the breaking point for me. Because it wasn't always going to be that game. Like, I don't understand where that got started, but when Star Citizen first got, like, kick-started, it was essentially going to be a lot more like Elite, but with space legs, essentially. Um, it wasn't going to be all survival mechanics and all this other bullshit. Um, and I was all for, like, a new space sim game. Like, that was great, because there weren't any out there at the time. Yeah, absolutely, Noodle. Like that was when I was really like, wow, they're just really trying to grab money wherever they can. The whole like 2.6 thing, when they were like, oh, subscriber access, you can get that and get into 2.6 now. Uh, that was when I was like, what? Like, we've already paid to back this fucking game. Now you're just like, hey, come pay $10 and you can be playing the new patch. And then when they did the same thing with 3.0, it's like, okay, well, I guess that's the new norm. Cool. They're such a shit company. And I mean, like, in their defense, like, there's lots of other shit gaming companies and shit companies in general that can make good products and still be just fucking terrible companies. But I don't know. Aside from like their company practices, I also don't enjoy the fact that they seem to have no idea where they want their fucking game to go. They still have no idea how they're going to implement tons of fucking core mechanics, and they're just, you know, all over the goddamn place. So I mean, I don't know. There's like a dozen reasons for me personally why I just don't want to fucking be involved in Star Citizen anymore. Yeah, I agree. Omicron, that was like a huge one for me. When they introduced Mobiglass in 3.0, it's just so fucking cumbersome to use. It's fucking stupid that it's tied to literally everything now. Um, like you get in your ship and you're like, oh, hold on, let me pull out my wristwatch really quick. Um, it's just fucking, I don't know. Sometimes I think that like Chris Roberts is more concerned with Star Citizen like looking and feeling like a movie versus like being a playable, enjoyable game. Exactly, Pyrogrant. Exactly. That kind of shit. I've so I don't know like how readable chat is for you guys, but god damn it. The one ship I don't have fucking weapons on is always the one that gets interdicted. Um, but yeah, like Pyrogrunt says, like when they start talking about like changing batteries in Moby-Glass, like I've played enough grindy fucking miserable games. Like I don't want to do that kind of bullshit. Fuck off. Um, that isn't fun gameplay. That's fucking misery grind shit. I already own enough like really miserable games that if I wanted to fucking, you know, torture myself, I would go play them. I think like a lot of people really hope that Aaron like kept Chris in line because being his brother, he's probably the only one who could ever do that, right? Like anybody else who would be like, "Oh, Chris." you need to get your shit together would be bounced out the fucking door. Uh, quick as fuck, right? Um, yeah, I don't know, man. I have no idea on Squadron 42 because we haven't really seen anything in Squadron 42 Noodle. I guess we'll see come the holiday stream and just what kind of shape Squadron 42 is in. The thing that like really bugs me though is like, looking back to Gamescom 2016 demo when they showed 3.0, right? You know, ran smooth, no issues, whatever. At that point, like, you kind of realize that like CIG can make a demo look good even if it's what they're gonna deliver is a little less than that. So at this point, I kind of don't even like trust that anymore, you know? Yeah, absolutely, Sky. Right? Like my graphics card is probably my weakest link, and it's a 980, and it's a 4 gig card, and you know, Star Citizen runs like dog shit for me. And it's 3.0. Like it's not Star Citizen itself. Like I never had a problem in terms of frame rate with what do you call it, 2.6. And I mean even like 3.0, if I go play it offline, right, it runs fine. It's just 3.0 is a fucking mess. It was nowhere near ready for fucking PTU. It should absolutely be. Honestly, like I don't even know if like what they had there is like ready for Evocati. It feels like they should be having paid fucking testers running over the build that we have right now. Yeah, I think Chris absolutely has like some kind of ego complex going on. Of course, there's an anti-air turret. God damn, man. These things are so fucking annoying to deal with. Yeah, like, and it's a shame because, like, I don't even necessarily want that much out of Elite in terms of space legs. God damn, I'm fucking so tired. I would be totally fine with just, the ability to walk around. Like, I don't necessarily need, like, meaningful gameplay out of it, which I'm sure I'm a minority in that, right? But, like, I would enjoy just being able to walk around for the sake of fucking walking around. honestly, like, EVE Online is a big part of why I fucking back Star Citizen. Like, I used to play EVE Online and sit there thinking, like, God, it would be really fucking cool if I could be, like, inside of my fucking, you know, my cruiser and shit, and my battleship. Like, I was really hoping that, like, Valkyrie was going to be tied directly into EVE. So then, you know, you could be, like, flying the fighters in those big EVE battles and shit like that. That would have been really cool, but I don't know. And the same thing with Dust, right? When CCP developed Dust, I was like, oh man, this is gonna be really cool. It's gonna be tied into fucking the space battles and shit and all this other crap. And then like the stupidest shit that they fucking could have possibly done was make Dust fucking tied to fucking PlayStation exclusive. And I'm like, what the fuck? What kind of stupid fucking move was that? Like, really? I like that one blew me away. That CCP thought it was a good idea to fucking tie Dust into fucking PlayStation. Especially because like they would have to know that Dust has to like as a PlayStation game, right? As a console shooter, you have to compete with the fact that like, you know, there's Call of Duty and all these other games on console which are very fucking popular on console, but also that console shooters are like, you know, they're fucking popular one month and the next month it's the new fucking title for console, right? That like everybody migrates to. Um, and Dust, you know, Dust 514, whatever it was, like desperately depended on having an active, like continuing player base. So like that whole decision made no sense to me at all. Yeah, absolutely, Demner. Like some of the decisions that CCP makes just really make me like, I'm like, what? Are you for real? Yes, guy, that was me. I purchased the Idris M CCU and then had it taken away like 2 weeks later. Yeah, it sucked, Sky, because like that was literally the only ship that I didn't have that I actually really, really wanted. And honestly, like it's the only ship that I really wanted, right? Like I had an Idris P, but really like I wanted an M. Um, I didn't want a Javelin because it was just way too fucking big. There was no reason to get a Javelin for me personally. And like back then, I was like still all into Star Citizen. Even like being critical or whatever, I was still like all in. And that whole fucking experience from the Idris MCCU probably is what kickstarted me down the path of being like, dude, I'm fucking done. Like, just the way that CIG handled it, both in terms of like the shit that they allowed to go on in the RSI forums, um, like not communicating with me at all over like the whole purchase and everything. It was just such a fucking nightmare that like by the time it was done, I was just like, man, fuck you guys. Yeah, absolutely, Dim. Like, there's nothing I would love more than to see, Star Citizen pull off everything that they want to pull off. That would be incredible. I just, I don't know. I mean, between like their track record and the fact that they just promise everybody everything, um, like I just don't know how they can ever deliver. And the longer they draw it out, the higher the expectations are going to be on them, right? And I feel like when they do finally drop a product, it's going to be, you know, a lot of very disappointed backers. But who knows? Maybe not. Yeah, I mean, absolutely. Like, why hurry out why rush out a product? Why, you know, they have a business model right now where they, you know, supposedly make millions every month, and they're not even like they're not even really like delivering a product yet, right? Like they've gone on 5 years of just getting paid stupid money every month, and you know, there's no expectations on them at all. I mean, there's obviously people who are like, "Oh man, I want to play 3.0 or I want to play 4.0 or I want to, see the release game, blah blah blah." But uh, for the most part, like the community's like, "Oh, take your time. We're good. We'll just be here. I don't care if, my grandchildren are gonna be the ones that inherit my account when I fucking die. You just take your time and build the game of my dreams." And like, that's cool. I get it. I understand wanting to see Star Citizen happen, but like they just don't hold CIG accountable at all in terms of like their timelines and how they manage it and just everything. Pyro, I think it's Citizen Gamer does a pretty good job. Um, Old Blood and Guts is a pretty good channel. Um, what's the other guy's name? Minion Soldier, I think it is. Something like that. Minion Soldier. All three of those on YouTube are pretty good channels that are not like biased, at least not like shilling for CIG levels, right? Um, so like if you were gonna look for like reliable sources of Star Citizen news, Pyro, I would say those three are pretty good channels to check out. And that's one of the things that really bugs me, right, Pyro, is like especially when you're some of these larger channels or streamers and you do have the audience to kind of like influence and you know directly affect CIG's bottom line, right? But instead of using it for like the greater good, they're just content to smoke the pole and you know pad their fucking sub ratings and all this other shit. It's like, okay, well, that makes you feel good. Then I mean, they're getting paid, so I guess it would feel good, right? But I don't know. I couldn't bring myself to do that kind of shit. It just felt fucking wrong. Yeah, right, you bandits. Like, that kind of shit is just, like, hold them accountable. Fuck, man. I don't think it's that much to ask that, like, you hold them accountable in some sort of, like, some form of timetable. Instead of saying, like, oh, well, it's never been done before. Like, everything has never been done before until somebody does it. Like, I get it. That doesn't mean that, like, they should be exempt from any kind of, like, time management criticism and everything else. Yeah, absolutely, Demmer. Right? Like, that's the big one, right? Is like, it's one thing to increase your scope and say, hey guys, we've gotten a truckload of money now. We're gonna push this game, add more to it, really develop this thing into like something that's never been done before. That's cool. That's great. But like the fact that instead of getting out like their basic core features, they're focusing on stuff like face over IP and just all sorts of other extra dumb shit before they've got like a base game even like ironed out, much less actually like implemented and in testing and anything like that. That kind of shit really doesn't inspire a lot of confidence for me. Yeah, that's always good when people use your company and your project as like a, hey, don't do this, don't be these people. It just sucks, man. Like, I guess I really believed that like maybe a company that started from nothing and owed everything to its backers would be different. And I guess like I was naive, right, for thinking that it would be like that. Absolutely. You know, in my defense, I was a lot younger when I first pledged into Star Citizen, so I'd like to blame it a little bit on youth. But I don't know, man. It just really sucks to see what happened to both CIG and the game over the years. At least for me personally. Like I understand that like there's still plenty of people on my channel that are like all in and still absolutely believe and want things to succeed, and that's fine. I don't have anything against them. I mean, I'm sure greed has something to do with it, for sure. You know, if he legitimately was like sincere in the early days of Star Citizen when he was like, "Oh man, I never thought that we would ever make this kind of money, blah blah blah," then, maybe he like legitimately was just blown away by how much money he could make by, literally just fucking around and developing a game. And, I mean, if I was making millions every year for doing essentially, you know, I don't want to say nothing, but, you know, just managing a bunch of people and telling them, oh, hey, work on this now and work on this and hey, work on this other random shit that I just came up with. Like, I'd do that in a heartbeat. Fuck. Omicron, you have a great one, man. Thanks so much for hanging out. But yeah, Noodle, I completely agree. I think that Star Citizen would be a completely different project if Chris Roberts was either not in charge of it or had somebody that kind of reined him in, right? Somebody he had to answer to. I think the problem is that like he just he's it, right? And I think somebody needs to like essentially be keeping Chris in check. And unfortunately with CIG there's nobody that does that. That's such a good comparison, Demir. Um, fucking ultraviolet. Oh man. Ooh. Yeah, I mean, could you imagine just Star Citizen would be a completely different. I don't want to say it would be a completely different game because I think they still could have done like the same game, but it would be at a completely different stage in its development if it had a publisher that was, going, "Hey, here's your timeline for this milestone, here's your timeline for this milestone. We fucking expect results. Stop fucking around with like all this other shit. Stop fucking with that. Let's focus on getting the core game ready and shippable, and then we can fuck around with this other shit." Yeah, absolutely. Uh, and like that's one of the things that like I don't know. Like that was why I kickstarted or backed it, right? Like I wanted them to to make a good product that like was passion driven, right? And not one that felt like, oh hey, it's just being pushed out to meet you know, investor quota or whatever. I'm super tired and words aren't working for me right now, but like, and I guess like what I actually want is something in between like the Star Citizen we have now, where it's, well, we'll just fucking, just keep selling concepts and keep adding shit to the fucking work pile that needs to eventually get done. Um, and then something, you know, from that end of the spectrum to the other end where it's, let's get the base game out and just ship a product, blah blah blah. So like what I really wanted out of Star Citizen was something in between those two. And unfortunately, I don't think that's ever going to happen. Oh yeah, absolutely, Sky. Like at least 3 years. And that's like optimistic as fuck, right? Yeah, absolutely. Like, I, I have to give, and like I hate that, especially you see Star Citizen backers like just shit all over Elite, right? And like I'm not saying Elite is a perfect game by any means, but they put out a playable working game, and they added to it from there. Um, and like everybody's like, oh well, it's super shallow, it's super empty, and it's like, okay, Star Citizen is essentially the same thing. The only difference is you can get out of your seat and walk around and shoot people. It's going to be 1,000 times harder to balance. It's going to be just as repetitive. It's going to be a griefing fucking playground. Like if if Star Citizen actually manages to ship, I will probably maybe play it just because the griefing potential is fucking off the charts with Star Citizen, and so many backers are like in blissful ignorance of the fact that like, dude, Star Citizen is going to be a griefing fucking like theme park. Oh, it's gonna be fucking great. The rage videos that Star Citizen will fuel YouTube, like I won't have to like my thing when I'm bored is I love watching like World of Warcraft like raiding guild like freak out rage videos and stuff like that, like drama fucking videos. Oh man, I fucking love that shit. And dude, if Star Citizen actually manages to release, they're gonna give me so many fucking videos to watch when I'm bored, dude. It's gonna be fucking incredible. Um, so I'm excited for that alone. Yeah, absolutely. And I don't think I've seen a lot of like I don't think I've ever seen ever actually seen an elite player that's like, oh, elite is fucking great. It's fucking as good as it could be or anything like that, right? Uh, and like you know the thing is like you see that all the time with Star Citizen backers, but the thing that I really like get tilted over with Elite is like the Star Citizen faithful just shit all over Elite, and it's like, dude, your criticisms really don't add up. Like, absolutely, it's a lacking game, but like the shit that you see Star Citizen backers constantly attack the game for is just really like you like one of those like you should probably not throw stones in glass houses type situations, right? Like, I don't know, man. Mine, okay. Yeah, for sure, Jason. I'm sure that they've got a lot of people from Frontier working on that right now. I mean, it's almost up there with being handed Star Wars as an IP, right? Like that game could potentially be enormous for Frontier, right? So I mean, I think it's understandable to shift a lot of their dev team over to that. But I think like a lot of the stuff that they've talked about, and like they didn't even, when they had a Frontier Expo, I think it's called, right? And they were talking about 2018 plans for Elite. Like they didn't even go over like everything that they are planning to do with 2018. And I still think like their 2018 plans for Elite sound really cool. So I'm excited to see like the other stuff that they didn't talk about um, with the Beyond season. Yeah, I mean, honestly, like I was totally ready to pay for that, right? Like, from my understanding, because I bought Elite like essentially towards the end of the year, and what do you call it? Like my understanding was I was buying the Horizon season pass, and I was expecting to have to buy, you know, the next season of DLC, and when I heard that like if you own Horizons, you own the next season. I was like, wait, shut the fuck up, really? I thought that was incredible. So, I mean, I would honestly like after playing this game, I would gladly pay them for it. Like, I'm all about supporting Elite. I think it's fucking incredible. I hope that Jurassic Park is very successful, and Frontier also invests some of that money back into Elite as well. Because I would love to see Elite keep evolving. Uh, you banned us. I haven't played a whole lot of No Man's Sky since they've updated it. I've seen a lot of the stuff that they've updated. My biggest issues with No Man's Sky is I just don't enjoy that kind of tedious gameplay. And for me personally, I feel like No Man's Sky is incredibly tedious. Like the bad interface, having to like hold down a button to interact with every part of your user interface. The inventory management, I don't fucking enjoy at all. Um, Shit like that. Like it just feels really, I don't know, bland and empty to me. But and like, I don't know if I will ever forgive Sean Murray for fucking blatantly lying, left and right about like, so many major features on that game. Like, it would have been a completely different experience, right? If No Man's Sky had said, "Oh yeah, no, there's no multiplayer," right? Like, I could have like decided, okay, do I want like a single player sci-fi Minecraft, and like weighed my decision from there. But I don't think I'll ever like get over them essentially suckering me out of fucking $60. I'm super fucking glad I didn't buy a collector's edition or like a deluxe or anything like that. I'll put it that way. I haven't tried Valkyrie. No. I thought about it, especially now that I have the Rift. I just don't know if I'll actually ever get around to it or not. I've heard it's like really incredible, but I don't know. I could absolutely see that, Jason, right? Like Hello Games is, a small indie nobody studio and they get really lucky and manage to pitch their game to Sony um, with an exclusivity contract of like being, an early access title, not early access, but like a timed release title. Um, you know, I'm sure they were like, "Oh shit, man, we can make some solid money with this. We should partner up with Sony and get this shit done." And unfortunately, they weren't able to finish their game up by the time it needed to be done. But I mean, the problem is like, you know, Sean Murray was like on every major fucking media outlet, like from gaming ones to fucking, you know, the Colbert Show and all this other shit. Like way too close to release, talking about, oh yeah, fucking, it's got multiplayer and it's got all this other shit, and you know, we're a year later, uh, actually more than a year after No Man's Sky's release, and you know, we're more than a year past, and like, there's still no multiplayer, right? So it wasn't like it was a feature that was like, oh man, we just didn't have enough time to crunch and get it out. It was straight up like, oh hey, it wasn't ready at all. Yeah, absolutely. Like, I understand, like, it's got like the whole ghost shard thing or whatever the fuck they call it, ghost globe, or I don't know. But like, it's not a fucking like, it's not multiplayer even remotely close to what Sean Murray was describing. So like, that's the big thing that like, I don't think that they were even close to having that actually in game, whether Sony pushed them to release early or not. Go ahead and refresh that. Yeah, Ark tumbled head over heel downhill. Right around the time they got bought out as a company. I mean, they were never perfect, right? But Wildcard was at least moderately decent in terms of like communicating and trying to be involved with the community. And then after Snail Games, it was just like, well, we've got fuck you money, so we don't give a fuck anymore. Fuck you guys. We're gonna go ahead and knock this product out and just go ahead and up the price now and push this bitch out. Yeah, I mean, you have to give Hello Games some credit for sticking with their product and not just being like, well, we really shit the bed with this one. Let's go ahead and bail and call it good. Take our money and walk off from this one. I don't mind like the survival crafting. I think maybe it's because like, you know, I played a shit ton of Minecraft with my kids when Minecraft first came out, and then Ark Survival Evolved, 7 Days to Die. Yep, just kind of ended up playing a lot of those sort of titles. So for me, No Man's Sky was great, right? Because it was those kind of games, but with the sci-fi facelift that like I really wanted. Because you know, at heart, I'm just a sci-fi fucking nerd. Um, so I was really, really hoping that No Man's Sky was gonna, live up to the hype, or at least land close to it. Yeah. Poor fucking Mass Effect, man. That really fucking breaks my heart. Like that was hands down like probably one of my favorite intellectual properties, and it's just so fucking sad to see that BioWare fucking backup team just murdered the shit out of that fucking game. And like, it's weird because I feel like Andromeda wasn't even something that like they couldn't have salvaged. Um, like I feel like Andromeda was absolutely something that they could have, through post-release patches and even DLC, fucking fix that fucking that title. I don't know. I don't want to say franchise because Mass Effect as a franchise wasn't shit, but that specific game like obviously had issues. Like even going back, right before Destiny released in October. So yeah, October. Um, I was playing Andromeda. I was like, it's in a lot better shape than it was when I played it at release. Like this isn't even that bad. Um, and it's just like, dude, did they actually have the devs on Anthem? Because from my understanding, the guys who were actually responsible for Mass Effect were already on Anthem, and it was an entirely different studio, what the Montreal studio or something like that, that handled Andromeda. Um, I don't know. It just sucks. I mean, hopefully Anthem isn't just fucking riddled with loot boxes and other bullshit. Though I suspect it will be, which is unfortunate. Yeah, true enough. True enough. Oh, I'm sure that Anthem will be really polished. I just hope that it's not like super microtransaction-y, or macro transactioned. I mean, look, you had Battlefront, and that was fucking just loaded with it. Evidently, the new UFC is fucking even worse. Um, the Need for Speed, also microtransactioned out the ass. Um, so things aren't looking super good for Anthem right now in terms of like not being just riddled with it. But I guess we'll see. I would love for Anthem to be good, right? Like absolutely. Um, it's exactly the kind of game I would play the shit out of, but we'll see what happens. Yeah, that would be nice, Steve. Elite has plenty of stuff that they could absolutely like build on and improve, and that's from my very limited playtime as an Elite player. I'm like, I have really mixed feelings on Destiny 2, Demir. Like, I don't want to shit on it yet. I really want to give the live team a chance with the game and see what they do with it before I really like talk too much shit on Destiny 2, because I feel like it could be a really good game still. And I'm really hoping that like future content kind of redeems it a little bit. Yeah, Jason, I love Warframe. I think Warframe is a fucking phenomenal game for a free to play game. I think they fucking do not get nearly enough um, attention and credit. Some of that mad respect. Uh, I think D did an incredible job with Warframe for a free-to-play game. If I had to pay $60 for Warframe, I would probably have a lot of different opinions on Warframe, but since it's free to play and their fucking expansion is free as well, you know, fucking, I think that's incredible. Yeah, I agree, Noodle. Like, I have no issues with cosmetic microtransactions. Um, I don't mind it. Uh, Elite's like, Elite is on the very far spectrum of like my acceptable microtransactions, and the only reason is because you have to spend money to get the cosmetics. But any game where you can buy cosmetics as microtransactions or you can earn them in game, I'm fucking down as fuck with that, right? Because if you don't want to fucking grind for shit and you want to support the game, you can fucking go buy fucking cosmetics. Or if you don't want to spend more money and you're like, hey, I already paid insert price for this specific title, you don't have to fucking spend more money because you can earn everything in game. So like that's my only criticism with Elite is that cosmetics can only be earned by paying with real money. But the fact that Elite hasn't monetized anything that affects gameplay in terms of like power or, you know, better ships, credits, whatever the fuck, right? Fucking huge respect for Frontier for making sure that it's all cosmetic and it doesn't affect gameplay. So like I said, Elite is kind of like on that far spectrum of like, yeah, it's all cosmetics. It kind of sucks that like you have to use money in order to earn them or in order to unlock them. But outside of that, it's a really good fair system. It doesn't affect other players. Like if I have $100 or $1,000, whatever, to spend a month on Elite, and somebody else only has 20 to nothing, my income does not affect their gameplay in any way. So I think that's really cool. I so like I agree, Jason. Like it would suck to have to grind for cosmetics. Um, my only issue is like if you don't spend money on cosmetics, then uh, your ships look kind of bland as fuck. Oh, absolutely. Like I'm just being like nitpicky as fuck, Steve, in terms of like you know the fact that like you can't get them without spending money. I absolutely think they're reasonably priced, especially since you don't really pay for much else in this game, right? Hey Greg, how's it going, my man? Yeah, like especially in the grand scheme of things of like after backing Star Citizen and spending, the amount of money that I did on Star Citizen, it, Elite's cosmetics are by no means, that big of a deal. Also because like, $30 for the fucking base game, $30 for the season pass, for content. God damn it. I never pay attention when I need to. So $60 and the game is fucking done and paid for, and you have access to everything. Like, yeah, I don't mind spending like. $30-40 for cosmetics for all the ships that I like. I don't see that as a problem. Yeah, I did because I wasn't sure if I was gonna like Elite, right? Um, and I didn't want to spend $60 and then be like, oh well, uh, there's another game I'm never gonna play. So I bought the base game first, and then I bought Horizons. Yeah, Steve. The soundtrack is like really kind of hit or miss. Like I feel like sometimes it really feels good and like great mood, great vibe and everything, and then other times I'm like, eh. If I could turn it off with one key right now, I'd turn it off with one key type thing, right? Yeah, they really do, Greg. Like literally, because like with Frontier, like okay, say I want one specific color for like all the ships, right? Like if I want the tactical graphite for like all of my ships, I have to individually add it to fucking cart like across all of it, right? Um, Instead of like being like, oh, hey, here's an option where you can buy it for every ship, and the price is fucking like 100 or whatever. I don't know how much it would cost to like get a paint job for like every ship, but like FDev really makes it a pain to like just buy all in. I don't know if I've had the music enabled anytime I've gone to any of the alien bases actually. I think I've had the music disabled for like the longest fucking time, and then I just happened to accidentally recently turn it on. Because like usually if I'm not streaming, I usually have Spotify up when I'm playing anyways, or I'm watching Netflix or something like that, right? So I usually don't want it on. Oh god damn it, it's on the backside. Yeah, I really need to go through my settings and figure out like why Elite is freaking out so much with the Rift on because it's so hard to play this right now without the VR on. After playing with the VR, like oh my god, it's just such a fucking better experience. Holy shit. Um, God damn it. It's just like night and day. Oh shit, no, 23, not 22. It really breaks my heart too because like even when you're streaming it in VR, like viewers really don't get a sense of like just how fucking how fucking incredible it is. Like I was doing some recording stuff to like test out how it was frame rate wise for OBS versus like what I was seeing in the Rift, and man, you really do not get even close to like a sense of like the immersion and just how fucking overwhelmingly like just it feels so fucking good. Like the first time I got the Rift, right? I booted up I booted up Elite, pulled out my Imperial Eagle, and I went out and was just fucking. I was trying so hard to make myself puke. I was like, come on, come on, come on! I want to feel my stomach just fucking drop. Oh, it was so much fun. Oh shit! I'm gonna have to Google that because I have no idea what that is. But fuck, man, 42-inch monitor. Holy shit! Who makes a 42-inch monitor? Like I have a 32, and I swear to God, like I have so much trouble finding um other 32-inch monitors to go with it because I wanted to replace my what do you call it, my secondary monitor, and then also get like a third. That way I could split up some of the apps a little bit better. Nice. I'm gonna have to look that up. I can't imagine a 42-inch monitor. That would be really fucking spot on. Make that money. Actually, I'm barely even gonna make any money because I'm just paying for the donations that I gave these assholes. Fuck. That's cool. I didn't need money. Salvage. Oh shit, really? Wow. That's really fucking cool. Yeah, I didn't even know there was anything like that. Um, hmm. Oh god, they're all shit missions. No. Why? Yeah, absolutely. Right. Like, hopefully VR gets a little less cumbersome, both in terms of like navigating your computer and everything like that. Like, it's a little bit of a pain in the ass when you're like booting it up and you have to like pop up the fucking headset to like do something on your desktop really quick and then drop it back down to like go back into game or go back into the VR fucking hub. I hate that they're fucking like I don't know how the Vive is, right? Maybe the Vive is different, but the Rift, I hate that like it like forces you into that like Oculus Home or whatever the fuck. Oh, it drives me crazy. Did I get a refresh? I don't think so. Nope. Try again. Yeah, that would be nice. That would be way better than having to pop it up and down, up and down. Oh man, nice noodle. Yeah, I'm kind of like I'm really kind of regretting not getting the Vive instead. Um, I feel like I kind of might have fucked up a little bit there. I probably should have known better after Oculus got bought out by Facebook. I probably should have known that they were gonna force like really annoying shit on you. And sure enough, like having that whole like Oculus home fucking app like launch anytime. Like even if I go straight to Steam and then open up Steam VR, then the Oculus app opens as well. So then I'm like, oh my god, why? Why is this a fucking thing? I guess, live and learn, right? Oh yeah, there's the mission refresh we were waiting for. Yeah, it's absolutely like that, right? Like it would be like going on fucking, you know, let's say you go on Steam and you want to play Ghost Recon Wildlands, right? You click play Wildlands and then fucking Uplay opens and then it launches fucking Wildlands and you're like, cool, why not? Yeah, I absolutely needed to have another app open. That's exactly what I fucking oh yeah, thank you so much for that. That's exactly what the Rift is like, right? Um oh fucking stupid. Damn, I was getting so many really good surface missions and now I'm getting just garbage left and right. Holy shit. Alright, let's just run this really quick and then come back and hopefully some more decent payouts. Because that is trash. And I mean, I wouldn't mind if the Oculus app opened. If, like, then I didn't need to have, like, the Steam VR one open. Or vice versa, right? Like, just open one and be done with it. Like, fuck.
Way ahead is clear. Safe travels, Commander.
One thing I never really noticed until I started using the Rift was what do you call it? How is it not gonna let me switch it now? Shit. How fucking big the interior actually is, like the cockpit itself, on the Courier. Oh shit. Oh, no, no, no. Like, I never realized that the canopy was so much higher up, and like that the cockpit was just fucking huge on the Courier until I was playing on the Rift. Because like from first person view, it doesn't look that bad, right? Like it kind of looks almost like a really closed in, um, like an F-16 type cockpit bubble. And then like when you see the cockpit in VR, you're like, holy shit, this is so much wasted space. Like that nose section up there could be a fucking like bed that you fucking lay down in. Like even that, right? Like it doesn't look like there's that much space behind the pilot in this, but like when you see it in VR, you're like, holy shit, man, this is like huge back here. Don't worry, Courier, though. I still love you. Mm. It's such a fucking gorgeous ship. Oh my god, I can't even imagine the big ships, right? Like the Beluga, that would be insane. Phew. Especially since like the Beluga's like what, the largest in the game, right? I think it's like bigger than everything. And it, like I remember um I remember riding in Spidey's Beluga, like when I first started playing the game. And I absolutely remember like being like, holy shit, the interior here is just fucking huge. So if the interior of this ship looks big in VR, I can only imagine the Beluga. That thing must be just ridiculous. Oh man, those last couple ranks towards the cutter, so slow. Which I guess is partly my fault. Like, it would be a lot faster if I wasn't running planetary scan missions and was only doing courier ones. Um, but that's a little like monotonous even for me. Yeah, I think the Corvette's like probably one of the coolest ships in the game, hands down. Uh, I really like the clipper. Honestly, like, I would probably not feel like I needed to grind towards the cutter at all once I got the clipper, if it wasn't for the fact that the clipper is a fucking large pad ship. God, that fucking irritates me to so like no end. Um, it's so depressing. I hate that, like, you know, you go from like the Eagle and the Courier being small pad ships, and then it's like, oh, okay, the other two Imperial ships are both large. And it's like, fuck, man, come on. Exactly, right? Oop, oop.
Warning, Commander, your landing gear is not deployed.
I'm not half asleep, I swear. Fuck. See, and that's what kind of bugs me, right? Is like
Touchdown confirmed. You may alight when ready.
I hate feeling gimped for not using a Python or a fair to lens, right? Um, like I want to use my clipper. I worked my fucking ass off to get the damn thing. I want to use it, but at the same time, like it feels really stupid to be flying a mid-sized ship and not being able to do anything on outposts because I don't, I can't land on a fucking medium pad. It just feels like a real kick in the balls. I just feel like they absolutely could have tucked the engine struts in a little further than what they were at. Mm, I think I'm gonna go ahead and call it tonight, guys. I'm really starting to get pretty exhausted. Um, and the last thing I want to do is fall asleep while I'm streaming. So I'm gonna go ahead and end it for tonight, but I'll probably be doing Elite most of tomorrow. If not, I don't know. We'll see. It's either gonna be doing the new expansion for Destiny 2 or playing Elite. I'd like to get some stuff done in Elite because I feel like I really haven't gotten much done. Every time I go to get on, I'm like, oh, I'm gonna start grinding towards the cutter, and then like I get distracted and start doing some other dumb shit. Um, but thank you everybody for joining me. I'm gonna try to tune up the VR shit so it runs a little smoother, hopefully, and then hopefully I can stream in uh, the VR instead of vanilla a little bit. But either way, I should probably be on it tomorrow at some point. Absolutely, Noodle. Thank you so much. I appreciate it, man. Thank you so much for hanging out, and thank you for the cheer. I will see you guys tomorrow, hopefully. Um, Probably Elite. I think I can wait on the Destiny expansion. I'm not really in a hurry to do that. Um, Especially since everybody I play with seems to always want to do raid stuff on the weekends. Ugh. So, I am Failure Report. Thank you all so much for keeping me company, really. Um, I am positive I would have been like snoring on my keyboard already if it wasn't for you guys in chat. So, you guys are the ones really helping me. You guys all have a great night, and I will see you tomorrow.